The Alldus podcast is brought to you by Alldus International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our AI in Action series, where leading minds in AI from across the world share their story, success, and advice. AI in Action cuts through the hype and explores the true impact of artificial intelligence in our world today.
You're listening to AI in Action. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Rachel Warren. Rachel is a senior data scientist at Buzzer. Rachel, welcome to the show.
JP, thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
It's our pleasure. So, Rachel, let's start with yourself, obviously. Can you give us a brief background of your journey in technology, from where you got started, what your path has been, and what's led you to where you are today at Buzzer?
So even from a young age, math just always fascinated me. I felt like when people around me found math kind of anxiety provoking, I actually found it pretty calming because it was something that always made sense to me. And I would always try and find ways to do math even outside of the classroom. Like I even vividly remember when I was younger, and anytime I'd be in the backseat of the car, I would look for patterns within the number sequences of highway signs or license plates. So if a license plate had a 347 in it, I was intrigued that 3 + 4 equaled the next number. And now that I'm thinking about it, and I'm laughing about it because it's strange, but I still do this today, even when I watch sports. So I try to find any fun patterns with numbers on the scoreboard or with in-game stats. And so, yeah, being a data scientist at a sports company like Buzzer really is like the perfect fit. And so anyways, a little bit more about my background. And so I took this fascination of math with me to undergrad, where I studied systems engineering, which is really a holistic approach to engineering with a specific focus on applied mathematics and optimization systems. And while I was at undergrad, I did take a couple of data science courses at school, but it really wasn't until my first job at AWS that I actually started to think about data science as a career. And so my first role out of school was as a business intelligence engineer in the AWS hardware engineering organization. And within this role, it really introduced me to using the cloud and the hardware infrastructure that allowed the data science solutions that I was building on AWS, how they run, and also how to deeply understand the trade-offs between different instance types and various storage solutions. And so this is all knowledge that I still use as a data scientist. And so really within this first role, while I was still working with mass amounts of data, the solutions I was building as a BI engineer were more retroactive as opposed to proactive. And so I realized pretty quickly that I wanted to move more into the data science role. And in order to do that, I ended up taking a year-long data science course while I was still working, just to strengthen more of my data science skills. And I really do think it was this horizontal career change that helped me to get to where I am today as a senior data scientist at Buzzer.
Absolutely. Thank you for the background. It's great to hear how the early fascination in math sort of acted as your North Star and led you into your first step on this path. And what's also good to hear you vocalize is a decision to take on education while in a role to advance where you want to go. And it was great to see that you were able to do that successfully at AWS. So talk to us now about Buzzer. Obviously, you made the switch last year. Buzzer are an incredibly interesting company. But for anyone not familiar with Buzzer, tell us about the business.
Buzzer is a new mobile-first platform that connects fans with must-see live sports moments. And so the mobile platform itself provides curated short-form access to live sports content that fans can tune into so that they never miss the sports experiences that matter the most to them. And so why is that important? So live sports moments are ephemeral. And if you are scrambling to find out where to watch a game that's down to the wire or how to sign up for a subscription for access, you'll likely miss that moment and default to having to watch it as a highlight. But now with Buzzer, our consumers are enabled to watch that moment live before the rest of the world sees it as a highlight, while at the same time enabling our business partners to monetize that moment one last time before it becomes free on the internet. And so I can walk the listeners through an example to really highlight the value that Buzzer brings to our users. Let's say that you're a huge Knicks fan, right? And the Knicks are playing the 76ers, and with 3 minutes left, the Knicks are down by 2 points. And now let's make this even more interesting, and we say that this is a final round playoff game. And so you really desperately want to watch the end of the game that you know all your friends will be talking about the next day. And so first you need to find out where and how you can watch the game. What streaming service is it on? And do you even have a subscription or access to watch? And just having to go through that process of figuring out where and how to watch means you'll likely miss the last 3 minutes of the game. But now with Buzzer, you can actually follow the Knicks directly on our platform and be alerted as soon as the game becomes close. You then tune in directly from the notification that we send you and watch just by paying 99 cents or even for free with NBA League Pass. And so now you're brought directly to the stream on Buzzer, and you can watch the Knicks hopefully come back for the win. And so that's really how we're bringing value to our users. But with Buzzer, we're really building it with both the fans and the media providers' interests in mind. And we're really focused on the opportunity that's created by 3 main trends that we're seeing in the sports media industry. And that first trend is really that there's a general decline in live sports viewership, especially among younger fans, as these fans tend to be what we call more casual fans, meaning that they follow players over teams. And so this requires these fans to subscribe to multiple services just to watch their favorite players, as there isn't really one source of truth for everything that they want. And then the second trend, which kind of goes hand in hand with the first, is that there's a growth of new subscription services, which leads to a lack of content awareness and knowing where or how to watch games. And finally, the third trend, which is a result of the first two, is that there is an increase in piracy of live sports due to the high barriers to access. And so now when fans watch sports on these pirated streaming services, that becomes a missed monetization opportunity, which alone is estimated to be worth about $28 billion. And plus, now fans are also forced to compromise on the quality of the streams that they're watching it. And so with Buzzer, some of the challenges that we're seeing, both from the sports fan perspective and also from the content provider perspective, are solved.
You are listening to the Alldus podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, or if you are interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions, www.alldus.com.
I want to now spend some time understanding the AI and machine learning behind the scenes and what specific challenges you're facing at Buzzer in making all this happen on one platform in real time, and how AI and ML gets you there.
Yeah, definitely. So we're still in the very early stages of Buzzer, actually just turned 2. And especially on the data science side, it's really a greenfield right now. We're continuously thinking about ways that we can collect and leverage more data to build machine learning solutions at scale, both in the short term and in the long term. And this is very exciting for me because I get to work with our entire data team to think about how we can really use this data and machine learning to shape the future of the company. And so specifically, some of the challenges that the data science team are solving today are really in direct response to those 3 sports media industry trends that Buzzer as a whole is working to solve. And from the data science side, we're really focused on building our solutions around 3 pillars of speed, simplicity, and fan centricity. And so in terms of speed, Buzzer should be the first place to notify you of an exciting live sports moment. And so the data science team is in the process of building out better moment prediction models through regression and time series modeling based on career and in-game stats. And so this allows us to better predict with a higher confidence, for example, if and when Steph Curry will hit that next triple-double during a live game. And so here, by leveraging machine learning, we can detect moments with ample time, giving users the ability to tune in to watch the moment live, while at the same time increasing the likelihood that the moments we are detecting will actually happen. And so the second pillar of simplicity, this really just relates to how we as a data science team integrate with the actual Buzzer platform. We're really a product data science team, and so a lot of the data science models that we're building are used in our production environments, which means that we're constantly enhancing our data architecture and our data science infrastructure pipeline so that the results of our models can be used in-app, and the prediction of our models are really easily explained to both our users and other internal engineering teams at Buzzer. And then the third pillar is to be fan-centric. So we want users on Buzzer to get moments that matter the most to them individually. Right now, we send moments to users based on who or what they follow in the Buzzer app. So users can follow specific players, teams, or leagues in general. And if you think about it, the number of moments that we're sending to users scales pretty linearly with the number of items that they follow. And so here the question really becomes, how do we get users to follow more items that will result in moments that are of interest to them, right? And how we're solving this on the data science side is we're starting to build collaborative filtering recommendation engines to recommend those players, teams, and leagues to users to follow that we believe they'll be interested in. And we can take this even one step further, where we plan to build these recommendations for the actual moments that we're sending to each user, based even more specifically on things like their watch history preferences. And so the real value that these recommendations give is it ensures that we're not giving users any notification or moment fatigue as we get more leagues and we get more interest on our app, but instead still providing them with those really high value. And so that's just a little bit about some of the data science work that we've been doing since I joined and over the last 2 years at Buzzer. But I think honestly, that's really just the tip of the iceberg at Buzzer. And some examples of other ways that we're thinking about using machine learning and AI in the future are how can we use natural language processing for editorial copies in the moments that we send to users? Or even can we eventually get to a place where we can use computer vision to build our moment detection models to reduce that latency for our users even further? I really do believe that the sky is the limit when it comes to data and machine learning, especially in the sports ecosystem.
Yeah, it sounds like a game-changing platform for sure, and I think will really resonate with the younger generation. A lot of what you've talked about there is something that I find myself experiencing. So I'm excited to use Buzzer. Focusing our attention now on the team behind the scenes, the team that you're a member of, and the growth expected. The concept and the model sounds like it could be huge, and in order for it to grow, you're going to need to grow the team. Can you talk to us about what it's like to be part of the AI team there at Buzzer, and what opportunities there are going to be for people who are interested in this type of platform, but also have a background in AI that they could join in the future?
Yeah, JP, thanks for asking this question. The team at Buzzer, not just the data team, but the team in general, is really one of my favorite aspects at Buzzer. And so I'm very happy to answer this question. So specifically, I want to highlight our Strive initiative, which is core to how we approach team development and growth at Buzzer. And it really is our why at Buzzer, since we believe you can do good and make an impact while also doing well. And so Strive is our intentional initiative that utilizes Buzzer's unifying platform to create more equitable, social, and economic outcomes for communities of color. And so we've built this Strive impact model where 1% of the company's equity is allocated to leveling the playing field, 1% of net profits are reinvested into nonprofits, and 1% of employees' time is dedicated to volunteerism. And so Strive really is how we think about growth at Buzzer. And so in terms of growth specifically for the engineering team and the data team, so right now our engineering team is currently 18 people, including our director of engineering, and it sits within the product organization at Buzzer. So it operates in a pod structure together with the product and design teams. I really do anticipate that the data team will only continue to scale over time, since it really is the core of our business and how we're building out our Buzzer Moments product. And we will only continue to build machine learning and discover new ways that we can use machine learning and AI to continue to grow our company.
Rachel, final question from me, and this is specifically focused on your outlook for the future of Buzzer. You've obviously worked in an amazing company prior to joining Buzzer, and you've made the move because you're interested in the mission. When you look ahead for the future of the platform, what are you most excited about?
At Buzzer, we're continuing to grow and expand our people, product, and partnerships. We currently have a partnership with NBA League Pass, and we are looking to get similar partnerships across all live sports, really. And I think for me, from the data science side, Really just excited to get to that point where we can build these data science solutions at scale that really enable us to solve the needs for our users, that really get them to tune into the moments that matter the most to them. And I think really excited to be able to have an impact on the end user. That's something for me that's different from my previous positions where the data science work I was doing was more internal. And so I'm just super excited to see the impact that some of these data science projects in production can really have on that end user, and also for the media providers as well.
Rachel, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today. Really appreciate you sharing your journey and your background. Buzzer sounds incredible. I'm personally very excited to use it. It sounds like it could really be a game changer for the sports industry as a whole. So we wish you, the team, and everyone the best of luck in achieving that mission. Thank you again.
Yeah. Thanks, JP.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.